What's poppin', y'all? There's been talk recently about this Offset song flopping. And the song is called Fan. It's a well-produced music video with like Michael Jackson influence. He did a rollout for this single. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't chart on the Hot 100 at all. It charted at number 49. It peaked at number 49 on the US R&B and hip hop charts. So it wasn't even a top 10 hip hop song on the charts. So a lot of people are calling this a flop, especially with all the press he did, the Cardi B stuff, the Nicki Minaj versus Cardi B stuff. So Nicki fans and Nicki Minaj is kind of clowning them with it too. But there's one thing I'm starting to notice more in hip hop, and this ties into Offset as well, is that narratives are forming based on revisionist history. So they're saying, yo, this Offset single flopped, as if we're supposed to expect Offset singles to chart. That's not something that's been ever a thing with Offset. If we take a look, right? We take a look at the data. A Offset single solo, not a Metro Boomin track, not a track with 21 Savage, not a track with Cardi B. A solo track by Offset. Keep in mind, Offset was part of a group, Migos. The last time it genuinely charted in the top 40 was years ago. Actually, he's never had a song peak in the top 40 ever as a solo act. His highest peaking song on the Billboard Hot 100 was Red Room, which was in 2019, and that was the first solo album with the most hype. It's a platinum single, and that was 4 years ago. So how are we going to expect, ever since then, the highest he's charted solo was at number 88, which was the song 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which it just charted for a week and probably just got out because it's not even certified gold or anything like that yet. So why do we expect Offset to chart at all when in the past he hasn't charted? And this is what I say, like there's like revisionist history that's working against a lot of these artists. It's also happening with Doja Cat, who I'll get into in a separate video, but people are saying, oh, her album flopped, this and that, when she was doing all this satanic promo, which I somewhat agree with, although they're not even looking at the history, and they're just assuming like, yeah, this person has hits. Offset does not have solo hits. The hits that he's had are on Metro Boomin albums, as when he's a featured artist, or Migos hits. I mean, this guy was part of a group. So I think it's unfair. Now, this does spark up another conversation, which is, do people care about... Also, let me make this very clear. Offset is more known for his albums than he is for singles, and his features as well. Like, for example, Father of Four was the best album out of the three, Takeoff, Quavo, and Offset, that they dropped. And that album is more, I guess, like respected than Offset's ability to drop hits. He's never been known as like, oh yeah, that's the hit maker. If anything, that was Quavo, which is why when Quavo was dropping solo, when he dropped that solo album, and it was Buns, people were like, whoa, yeah, this guy's definitely not the Beyonce of the group. So there's that. Then there's the conversation surrounding the promotion of the song. So this song did get Offset did get a lot of attention in the past month during the release of the song. So the assumption would be, hey, that means that the song should perform well. Well, no, not really. So academics kind of talked about this already. Some other people have talked about this, but the Kai Cenat stream, a lot of these other things, they're just it's personality based. A lot of these interviews are personality based. For example, when he's talking to that Bobby Althoff chick, which people felt like, oh, it was great, he told her off, this and that, although people are still collaborating with her. That is personality based versus hip-hop interviews or the traditional interview, which is music-based. Even Zane Lowe, shout out to Zane Lowe. We're going to give him credit, even though I don't clown Zane Lowe, but I usually say like, hey, he's not when someone thinks, yo, my favorite interviewer, who really says Zane Lowe? That's, I guess, the criticism I have. And it's more like softball, I guess, which there's nothing wrong with. It's just, he's a corporatized interviewer, which is fine. He's doing his thing. Shout out to him. He's been doing it for a long time. But where we have to give him a lot of credit and props to Zane Lowe, when Zane Lowe is doing an interview with somebody, it's about the music. So he's like, hey, what's your artistry like? What's the music like? What were you working on in this song? And some people find those interviews boring because they don't get into any of the drama. There isn't, I guess, enough of a balance between, hey, what's going on in your life right now in this drama, and how does it tie into the music, or also how the music is doing. But an interview where it's centered around your music, like a Zane Lowe interview, like kind of the traditional hip-hop interviews in the past, that is more likely to convert to sales or people checking out the music because that's the topic of discussion. But when you're on Kai Cenat's stream, it's like, yo, you're hanging out, you're doing your thing, you're having fun, and people like you. I mean, they may follow you after, but that doesn't mean they're going to check out your music. If you're on that Bobby Althoff chick, people are seeing the clips and they're like, yo, shout out Offset. Yeah, I had no idea Offset dropped the track until maybe a week ago. And I'm supposed to pay attention to this stuff. So, now granted, I have been paying attention a bit less, so it is partially my fault. But I'm seeing clips, and that's what made me look it up. So I'm seeing all of these clips. I'm like, why am I seeing Offset so much? I look up why I'm seeing him, and I'm like, oh, he released a song. But other people, they're not doing that. They're seeing the clip, and they're like, yo, let me shoot a like on that. He just, called out Bobby Althoff because she scheduled it with their team. He didn't, beg to be on Bobby Althoff stuff. Same thing with Kai. I think people are following him, but they're not checking out the music. Now, if it was based on music, right? And I don't know, maybe they're freestyling, maybe they're playing some of Offset's music. I didn't really watch the whole stream. They had to have promoted it at least once. But that's the thing, is not all attention is monetizable to the avenue that you want it to be. So, for example, the attention that Offset got there is monetizable. Like, he was promoting some merch and stuff like that, but it's not necessarily going to translate to music. And I think there is this trickle-down effect that is assumed from attention that it would help people's music, and that's not the case. Like, attention is very segmented. You're better off going to a die-hard music. For example, you're better off doing something, a live stream with Anthony Fantano, whose core audience is all music heads and they love music, than it is with Kai Cenat. That would benefit your single light years past doing something like that. But people just look at the numbers and they assume, oh, whoa, numbers, even if I convert a small number of these, it would be more than if I go to this other platform, which isn't the case, and we're slowly learning that over time. As for Offset, I think he's gearing to release an album. Am I excited for it? No, not really. Will I listen to it? Possibly. The most recent album I listened to was Lil Tecca, which I will talk about that in a separate video. Before that, I didn't really look forward to anything from Offset. I like Offset, but he's not someone where I'm like, yo, I really got to listen to what he's got to say. Although this should be interesting because it's the first album after the Takeoff situation, and there's still somewhat of a rift between him and Quavo. Some people were saying, yo, this song didn't chart because it's not good, or it sucks, or it's mid. Man, when has that ever been the reason for a song not charting? This is the ironic thing. People say the song didn't chart, or in general, I'm not speaking specifically on Offset. They'll say a song doesn't chart because it sucks, but then when you tell them songs that are top of the charts, they say those songs suck. So which one is it? Do songs that suck chart, or does a song not chart because it sucks? Realistically, neither is true. There are songs that people believe suck that make it onto the charts, at least for a week or two, because of the hype. Initial hype should get a song onto the charts, and then after that, if people are resonating with it or not, it'll carry over and maybe go up and down, fluctuate, maybe stabilize. But if the song is not even heard by that many people, which is the case with what happened most recently with Offset, then it's not even going to hit the charts at all. It could be a slow burn. Maybe they're working the record. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a hit to me. And the music video is cool, but that's really not enough to carry a song if the song isn't already great. That's pretty much what I've got to say on the topic. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I really want to know, did you expect Offset to have a hit or to make it high on the charts when he hasn't in the past? And why is that? Like, what made you feel that? Is because of his features? That makes more sense. Like, you see Offset on the charts, but it's not necessarily solo. So do you just attribute that to him being able to also do it as a solo act? Or what's the reasoning there? I know it's kind of intuitive, but take the time to kind of think about it and why you have this preconceived notion about what Offset should do, which is why I think people are actually calling it a flop. Because if they just looked at the history, they'll be like, yeah, well, we don't really expect him to chart. If it does, great. If it doesn't, well, that's standard. So let me know about that in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.